What's going on, guys? Let me know if anyone can hear me. Tommy, if you're there, let me know. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Just want to let some people get in here and then we're going to go for it. Guys, this is what I always talk about with Bitcoin. And this is what's funny. How I always say you can go to the bathroom or you can go shower. I was literally watching an episode of Burn Notice with my wife. All of a sudden the alarms and alerts go off. And this is what happens. You always have to have a plan for the upside and the downside. That's what I'm always going to emphasize with you all. And that's why we look at this stuff as well. And I'm going to get into all the technical analysis. I just really wanted to sit here, let some people get into this, and also let me know what you think's going on. Guys, obviously, whale manipulation. It just is what it is. But for me, you know, when we're looking at this, what we need to hold up above is that 200-day moving average. You can see how this candle has basically tested it. We're going to go through all this, but, you know, guys, let me know what you're thinking. We'll give it like another minute or two, and then we'll get into all this. And let me know, guys, we're going to cover 3 to 4 coins today, so put it down. What do you guys want to hear or see? We'll basically do like the top 3 coins that y'all want to look at today. So Ethereum, seeing some ETH. I see a lot of you expecting a dump, another dump. Seeing XRP, Theta. So we're basically just going to take the top ones that everyone puts that we'd have the most for. I'm seeing a lot of Digibyte, Litecoin. Seeing some XRP. And we're just giving this a try, guys. If there's glitches or whatever, I apologize, but I figured we'd give this a run. I got my new computer now, so we're getting things set up, trying to figure out all the audio. Haven't done any live streams yet, so just want to check it out. And basically with the way that I have this set up here, I'm going to be able to go through my charts, but I'm going to have to click back and forth. I'm not going to be able to see your guys' comments here. So once I let everyone go through here and see what they want to look at, then we'll get after this. I see a lot of people thinking Bitcoin's going to dump again. And what I really do believe it's going to come down to, guys, is what type of a reaction bounce we have after the fall that we just had. If we have some weak little low volume reaction bounce, then we could be in more trouble and we could be looking at some lower areas. So we're going to get into all that. All right, guys, we got about 70 people in here, so that's really good. And we'll get into this. So I'm going to go back to my screen here and we'll get after this. So what we're looking here is Bitcoin on the 1-day time frame. Okay. Main thing I'm paying attention to is this trend line, this yellow trend line. And as I continue to study the book that I was actually looking at last night, it's Using Technical Analysis, a step-by-step guide to understanding and applying stock market charting techniques. And what it was showing is if you're in a trade, so say you're in a trade right now and you're still trading up above the 50, you're still trading up above the 200 moving average, and we're still trading up above this trend line, you want to stay in your position, even though we did have this type of dump here. Okay. So what it was talking about is when you want to exit your position is when you see a trend line break, as well as when you start to lose that 200 moving average, that 50 moving average. Some people just go strictly off the 200, depends on the time frame that you're trading. Some people go off the 20 EMA. It just depends, but it's so important for us to stay up above this yellow trend line. If we don't stay up above the yellow trend line, we're going to be in a little bit of trouble here. And you can see we wicked down to that 200-day moving average. So that shows you how important this is. And that's where we're going to see if the bulls defend this. If the bulls can defend this area, then in a way it would just basically give the market a little more time to breathe, because we've really been making strong moves out of here. But the problem was, and like we've talked about for so long, that $10,000 mark, we needed to turn that into support. I hate the fact that basically we had a strong white candle here on above average volume, and then we had this sell-off here. we actually didn't even come up to test that 10,500 yet. And overall, if we take a look at this here, the macro downtrend we've been talking about, guys, if we even take it all the way out now, since we're on the 1 day, we take it all the way out here. Here's our high of 20,000, 14,000. Then we had that 10,500. Then we didn't even make it up to that. So this would just be a lower high. So that's why this is such a sticky situation for me. I got stopped out. I had a break even stop on. I was up about $500, and then this dump happened, guys, and it is what it is. I mean, this is the game. If you want to play this game for Bitcoin and Litecoin and all these other things, you have to protect yourself, and this is what it is. So now I'm looking for another opportunity, but I want to wait for just a little more confirmation. I want to see where this candle ends up closing today, if we can end up closing up above this trend line or not. Because if we have a 3 to 5% candle close below this trend line and this 200 moving average today, guys, I think we'd be in a little bit more trouble there. So that's on the 1 day for Bitcoin. Now let's take a look at the 4 hour. Because yesterday we did the technical analysis on the 4 hour. So what we've done, we broke out of this pennant here, went up about 11%, failed, could not hold $10,000. This is when we really dropped hard. You can see this just a screaming candle to the downside. So on the 4 hour, we're still up above our 200 moving average. We're up above this trend line still, but we have lost our 20 EMA as well as this 50 moving average. So those are now going to act as overhead resistance. So when I talk about the importance of the bounce today, I would like to see a nice strong move back up here to try to get back up above and close up above $9,300. If that doesn't happen and this is just some weak little bounce here up into here, guys, then we could have some trouble. If it's on low volume, we could definitely have one of those trend line breaks. We're trying to figure out, is this a big, just deep breath before we make that next move up? Or, guys, is the whole trend changing now? We've been in an uptrend, this intermediate uptrend, for quite a while. So I want to listen to a little bit what you guys have to say here. So I'm going to click back and we'll take a look. Yeah, so who's holding right now? You guys let me know. Who's holding? Are you still in positions? Did you have a break-even stop on? Were you in a winning position? Did you get stopped out? Are you down right now? Okay, so we got some people holding my big stack, no sell. Andy there. We got Litecoin. We're going to take a look at Litecoin next. We'll take a look at that. All right, we got some shorting. I know there are people who were planning on around $10,000. If we couldn't hold it, they were going to short. And obviously, there you go. But for me, typically, guys, I don't short if the trend, like say I'm in the intermediate term trend like we are, I'm not going to be shorting when we're having those retracements, because we potentially could have that next pop to the upside. Obviously, you can use stop losses and everything, but I really like to align myself with the trend. So if I'm in a bear market, then I'll be shorting. If I'm in a bull market, then obviously we're going to be going long when we have opportunities. People sold the dump. We got the natural born hodler. And guys, truly one thing I'll tell you. So there's people who've hodled this whole time. I know people say I can be tough on hodlers or whatnot. Number one, that's how I started out. Okay. If your whole plan, your entire plan this whole time was to hodl, you have a plan, stick to your plan. That's no problem. I'm just saying, for me, I saw that there's a greater opportunity in trading. Like I said, I have a little hodl bag and whatnot, but trading's been a lot more successful for me because of these big swings. Bitcoin moves in these massive swings. If you haven't noticed, there's times where you'll go 9 days, 7 days, where there's not a lot of action. And then all of a sudden in a screaming 5-minute candle, it's going to drop or raise, $1,000. So, and I heard a lot about Coinbase too. Has Coinbase been screwing people? Did anyone else have trouble with Coinbase? Thought I saw one here. Andrea A, I sold around 10 days ago, close to the max, and bought again today. Nice job. Very good. And another thing too, great point there. Where's that at? Marcus, Don't use leverage, fellas. In cryptocurrency, I would not recommend using heavy leverage. If you're going to leverage at all, I wouldn't go much above like 3x. And that's even getting crazy because of how this market can move. And there's people who will leverage, 25x or whatnot, and they're just getting annihilated in a space like this. I definitely would not use leverage. A lot of people, yes, couldn't get into Coinbase. Guys, see, that's what I'm saying. I love this space so much, but that's why big investors are nervous to put huge money in this because of this manipulation here. I mean, Coinbase isn't working. You can't do what you want to do when you want to do it. All the hacks, the scams. I mean, that's the problem. People I wanted to buy back in, but I couldn't. And then that's what's so irritating. You have a plan, you're ready to do this, and then, you work on your plan, and then your site doesn't work. Yeah, leverage is gambling. Absolutely. God bless you, Sean. There's some people here. I use 20x leverage every day, only on the 15-minute time frame. Hey, if that's your plan, man, like I said, you have a plan, stick to it. And I'm sure you're a seasoned trader, so that makes sense. So Coinbase Pro and Coinbase went down. Sheesh. So is this one going to be one of those things, guys? Do you feel like it's going to be this huge crash, and then basically people couldn't buy back in, and they were panic selling now, and then all of a sudden it's going to skyrocket again, and we're going to go challenge that 10,500? That's what we have to get over, is the 10,500. Thanks, Andy. I appreciate that. All right, so we're going to go into Litecoin next here. We'll just jump over, take a look at this. And these are a lot. I mean, guys, I'm obviously looking at the stock market, that type of stuff as well. So Litecoin's at 41.43. It got hit hard. And we have broken down through our trend line here. And that's on the 4-hour time frame here. You can see this was broken down. We ended up going as low as about 39.90. So this is definitely low here. Very high volume sell-off. So guys, this is the reaction here. I mean, if we don't get much of a move back here to even come back up and challenge that trend line or that 200, we just broke through a lot there. We lost the 200 moving average on the 4-hour time frame as well. Let's get a little bigger look here. We'll go out to the 1 day. So there's that break. And what's tough for Litecoin too, we almost came up here and tested that 200 moving average. And guys, we saw rejection off that. So now, I mean, we've lost, well, we never were up above, but we tried to get up above that 200. We failed. We have lost our 20 EMA, and now we potentially have lost our 50, but we need to wait for the close today. If all of a sudden this is some huge wick and we're trading back up inside this trend line, then we're going to look at things a little bit differently. But this was a high volume sell-off here for Litecoin, and it was at that critical area. So this is where you probably need to be cautious here. I hope people who were in Litecoin positions were using stop losses. Guys, it's one of the most valuable things you really can use. Even right here, how we had this bullish engulfing candle, say you were in a position and here was our trend line, your stop loss probably would have wanted to be a little bit right below that, probably about that $44.02 is where we would have had, and that maybe would have saved you a little bit of money if you were up in here. But what the stop losses are going to do is help you so you don't have catastrophic losses in a space like this where it can drop. Let's see, guys, a 1 day candle. Let's measure this. Just so I like to chart this stuff for myself. I'll write down, what's Bitcoin done on a 1 day candle? How extreme can it get to the upside? How extreme can it get to the downside? So I can kind of understand this stuff for the long-term perspective. So in terms of price range, in a 1 day candle, 42% in 1 day. Guys, that's unheard of in markets. So that's what you have to realize. We're truly in the Wild West here. And also, guys, you get something from this. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I appreciate you all being here with me. But, if you're going to ride the wild bull, you got to deal with it. And this is part of it. And typically, guys, I don't do videos on Sunday, but I know people are freaking out about this. And, I mean, this is a high-volume sell-off here. So we're going to have to see. The main thing that I can tell you is let's see what happens with the reaction here. What happens in the next couple days? Are we just going to continue hard to the downside? This is a weak reaction. Do you see this? We had this really hard fall, just like we're kind of having now. Then we had a weaker reaction because it was on lower volume, and then we had another dump. That's why we need this reaction here to be on heavier volume so that we can get back up inside that trend line and up above some of these moving averages. But right now it's tough for Litecoin. I mean, on the 1 day time frame, relative strength, we are looking at about 41 right now. Okay, so that's Litecoin. Come back, talk with you guys for a little bit here, and then we'll move into Ethereum next. You know what? In terms of the U.S. based, it really, for me, it is Coinbase Pro too. I really don't have many places that I feel that I can trust. Some people saying KuCoin here. Good vibes back at you, Nathan. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. So $35, Tommy, you're saying is roughly at the 0.618. That makes sense. That could be a bounce area if something gets really crazy. And yeah, some people don't use stop losses. There's times I don't use stop losses as well. I understand that because of the wicks in this market, but that means you kind of need to be tied to your computer and you have to set alerts and you have to be right there. If it's overnight or something crazy, guys, I would put them in. All right, so let's go into Ethereum here. Take a look. So Ethereum's sitting at $185 right now. Guys, that's at some critical areas we've been talking about as well. We have lost that 205. So here was our trend line as well. We're having a trend line break. 205 is now gone. That was acting as support here. We had a bullish engulfing candle on lower volume, and we could not hold it. It would have been important for us to get up above, I'd say around that 216, and we could have ran to 247. But right now we need to hold support at about $175. That's also going to line up with the 200-day moving average. So I would say pretty strong support there would be around the $175 Ethereum needs to hold, because we have our 200 there. We have our 50 there. We have support areas there. So that would be the spot. If we're going to get a bounce, it most likely would happen off that area after a heavy downside move like this. This was heavy volume. Take a look at that. And that's the thing, guys. I mean, it's just so tough in this market. And that's why I said I'm never going to predict and try to be the wizard man for you and tell you exactly what's going to happen. I can go off the technicals. We're going to have a plan for the upside, the downside, and sometimes you just need to stay out of the market. And some people have been staying out of the market around this halving because of things like this. Yeah, it could go parabolic, but also we could have, 10, 15, 20% drops to the downside. That's cryptocurrency. It's what we deal with. But overall here now, we'll even show you on TradingView for Ethereum. You can see we have moved to a sell signal. Overall summary, we have a 13 for a sell. We have 9 for a neutral. We have 6 for a buy. Oscillators, 2 sell, 8 neutral, 1 buy. And then moving average, we have 11 for a sell, 1 neutral, and then 5 for a buy is what we're looking at there. So that's the thing. I mean, it's just tough, guys. We're going to have to see the bulls step in. They desperately need to step back in. And if we take a fib on Ethereum as well, just to see where we did get up to, we'll go from our high to our low here. And you can see we even got up through that 0.618. We wicked up to the 0.786 of this overall reaction from this fall. And then that right there is where we've seen some rejection. Now we're also losing, or we're trying to find support, off that 0.618. So this might be an area for Ethereum. We'll have to look and wait to see if we do get a bounce off that area. And then if we fib it the other way, if we're just looking at this intermediate term uptrend, and we go up, you can see right now we would be down around that 0.236 area, which it's not uncommon for us, guys. When we have retracement, seriously, for us, even if we stayed in an overall uptrend here, book I was reading that I was telling you about, a lot of times you can retrace 1/3 to 2/3 of the entire move. So that's something you always have to be aware of, and then continue the trend to the upside. So if we had that here from our high and we even retraced back down to the 50% region, that put us at $142. And then we'd look to see if we potentially could get another move to the upside. I mean, even that 0.618 is at $127. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of room a lot of area to fall to the downside if we don't find support off this critical area that we're looking at there around $175. Okay, so that's Ethereum. Let's see. I think people were saying I saw a lot of Digibyte. We'll take a look at that. So Digibyte, what we were looking at yesterday in the videos we were talking about, remember, and this stuff I just want you guys to write down so you remember this stuff, because a lot of times it happens. We were looking at this 20 EMA and we were talking about how far away the price got from it. A lot of the times you'll get pulled back to these things. Okay, so for Digibyte, a good support area that I really do want us to hold would be about 0.01663. If that support area fails, then it'd be down to that 0.01106 is what I'd look at. But what Digibyte needs to do here is to set a higher low so that we potentially could try to get up here and make a higher high. And a higher high for Digibyte, we're going to have to get up above 0.02474. And you can see all this trading volume in here. We got a lot of high volume selling off in here. There's a lot of guys who are taking profits and people who are maybe potentially even buying off these double tweezer bottoms here. These are some of the longest wicks I've ever seen, but they were tweezer bottoms. And that could have been when people were getting in right there and they've rode this whole thing up and they're looking for some profit now because it's went up how much percent. So that's just where you do have to be careful. But that would be the area I want to see Digibyte hold and maybe get a bounce off of that 0.01655 would be a good spot there. To say the poor bastard just got into crypto, welcome to our world, right? Good or bad. And guys, after this, I mean, obviously 3 years isn't the largest amount of time, but in the crypto space, it's a decent amount of time. And I got in, it was April, I think it was April or May of 2017. So I've been through a lot. I have seen a lot of Bitcoin price manipulation. Let's just put it that way. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. For an opinion on Ethereum 2.0, I have not researched into it enough to give a good analysis. When I talk about stuff, guys, I really like to study up on, and that's just something I haven't studied up enough because I'm really watching price action. When I get time to study, it hasn't been so much looking into businesses and stuff for cryptocurrency. It's been really learning how to trade. That's what I've been doing, just really going through these books and trying to learn how to trade the best that I can. The question up there, how many hours did it take for me to learn how to trade? It's still an ongoing process. I mean, guys, to be honest with you, for the people who are still here, there are times, you know, it would be, I'd get home from my job and I'd spend time with my family, and then I would stay up even once my family went to sleep and would try to study, even if it was 45 minutes or an hour. When I went through my surgery, in 2018, and I was in the hospital for over a week. That whole time, I mean, I really couldn't move or do much. And I'll tell you guys all that story another day. But that whole time, I mean, I was studying hard because I know that if I can learn this stuff, it can be so beneficial for anything. I mean, you can trade cryptocurrencies, you can trade gold, silver, pork bellies, rice, beans. It doesn't matter. If you're able to learn this stuff of buying and selling and charting, then it's really going to help you in life. So I've really, really tried to work on that the best that I can. All right, guys. So we're going to do XRP here. And then I know a lot of people want to see links. So those were the two that we'll go with. And then I'm going to have to jump off here. All right. So let's do XRP first. XRP getting rocked pretty good too. And guys, these are just my charts that I was looking at here. So this was the trend line break when we were looking at that. We challenged on the 1 day time frame here, the 200 moving average. You can see we have big rejection there, heavy volume. And right here, this was a bearish engulfing candle on heavy volume there that was rejecting off that 200 moving average. So that was a tough spot for us there. And now we're getting that follow through to the downside. And what we were looking to do is hold as support 0.17853 is what I would look at for support. That red line that I had there. But overall, it's going to depend on what type of bounce we get out of here again and where this candle ends up closing today. Can we close up above the 50 moving average and still stay up above that? I'd really like to see that, because overall, we need to get up above this 200 moving average. Guys, if we zoom out, take a look at this. I mean, this has just been wicked. Look at these lower highs after lower highs after lower highs after lower highs. And if this was a lower high, I mean, we don't want a lower low that's going to take us down into this area, and it could get very ugly. So that's why this is a spot where we really need to start having some bulls step back into the equation right now, because we're basically trapped underneath that 200 moving average. And when you're going long and stuff, you want to be up above that for the most part, unless you're just short-term trading, intraday trading. That's the type of stuff that I'm looking at. And then we'll go into Link. So right now, I mean, really what I'd say for XRP, we need to hold that almost 18 cents and close today up above that 50 moving average. So we're not also trapped by that 50 moving average as well. And then we'll go into Link. You guys, people who are even going to watch this, you know, down the road or whatever later today, if you like this and you like me to do this from time to time and it's actually working out with the microphone and everything, let me know down in the comments. Like, subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. And if this stuff you guys like to do, we'll do it more often if it ends up working. So we got Link. Okay, taking a look at Link, and this chart I haven't looked at in quite a while here. So these were just some of the things that I had. I had overall top resistance there where we double topped. And guys, this is another thing when you study chart patterns. Look at this. Double top. Okay, we broke through the neckline. What happened? Massive fall. And these type of things, they can help you so much in your trading when you learn them. But right now, I mean, Link's stronger than the other coins. We're up above, still trying today to close up above our 20 EMA. We're up above our 50. We're up above our 200, but you're seeing a little bit of a rounded top that's coming in here. And if we were to close like this today, that would be a bearish engulfing candle on heavier volume. So we may start to have some type of a sell-off there, and we could even head back to test that 50 moving average. And that's going to be at $3.14. I'm not saying it has to happen. These are just the things my eyes picking up here. A little rounded top. We need to hold support there at $3.67. If we don't hold that and we break through it with a bearish engulfing candle, then we definitely could go lower. If Bitcoin's going to go lower and drag us down with it. It just is what it is. But right now, I think it's the time for caution more so than getting too crazy right now, because guys, truly, I just kind of want the halving to be done with, and I want to go back to just, you know, charting and trading, because the halving just throws a wrench that no one can tell you besides the market makers, the people who are going to move these markets. They're the only ones who know exactly what's going to happen. You could have the perfect textbook set up. It's looking like a beautiful bullish pennant or something. It can just shoot right to the downside, or ascending triangle that breaks heavy to the downside when it was supposed to break to the upside 70% of the time. So they can do whatever they want in this market. And that's just something that we have to be aware of. Yeah, people talking about right now. I mean, it's just dumping. Thank you for liking and commenting all the time. I really do appreciate that. Good. I'm glad the mic sounds good. Let me see. Thank you, John. Really appreciate that. Thanks, Chris. You may even get me to do a trade this year instead of being a chronic holder. Cheers, bro, and have a good Sunday. Thank you very much. And hey, I've been in your position before. Guys, here, this is, you want to hear a story? So I got in early. So I was looking, like I said, in 2017, I was looking at Litecoin and all these different prices. Litecoin at $30, it was $23, whatever. And I actually caught that big parabolic rise. Okay. Wasn't anything crazy. I had 60 of them, something like that. But at the time I said, oh my gosh, this was taking off. And I'm listening to all these people who were saying, you know, hold, hodl, hodl, hodl. Even when now looking at what I would see, we'd have a volume climax. The RSI is at 95. There's a shooting star candle or a hanging man candle. All these signs that were screaming at me that I didn't know them because I was just listening to the HODL group. So I actually saw a nice profit, you know, even in just Litecoin there. I saw a nice profit all around in my crypto holdings that I hadn't seen before ever in trading or anything like that. And I didn't take it. And I watched, a lot of it start to dwindle away until I really learned about bear markets and everything. And I was able to get out on a good reaction. And then I started trading from there. But I understand when you wake up and you're hoping that, the market's moving higher, but that's what it is. It's hope. And in all my books, it says that if you're buying and holding and say you're not even in an uptrend or whatever, you're just hoping. You're hoping that the price will go higher. So that's the risk that you do have to run, that you're hoping. But if that's your plan, then that's your plan and go for it. But for me, it's always nice. What's wrong with having a little hodl bag as well as trading? So have a little trading stash, guys. Set yourself up with $300, $500. That's what I like to do, micro trading, because I'm still I would consider myself a beginner in all this with how much you can learn in this space. I'm still trying to learn so much, and I just know down the road it will benefit me. I know there's a lot of people on YouTube with hundreds of thousands of subscribers, but I don't want to just say, hey guys, Bitcoin's going to $1 million in 2024. I'm not a fortune teller. How can I tell you what's going to take place in 2024? Would anyone told me 6 months ago that we'd be living through a pandemic right now? So anything can happen. And that's why you do have to have capital preservation so that you can play the game and so that you can take advantage of great opportunities when they're staring you in the face. And if you're completely in on a hodl, then you're at the mercy of the market. If that makes any type of sense. Yeah, there's a lot of people. I have the same story. I lost my ass on Litecoin, and that's what people get sick of, and then they leave the market. And that's why I try to be a different type of YouTuber here. I want to be truthful with people. And if that means growing my channel a lot more slowly than everyone else, then it is what it is. I appreciate the people who are here, and absolutely buy real silver. I've always been an advocate of physical gold, physical silver, land, just a lot of different things like that. And that's why I like cryptocurrency, because I like that set supply, and I like that there had to be some backing to it. That's the problem with how they can just print and print and print. There's no backing to it. It's just a big smoke screen. Yeah, thank you for the happy Mother's Day. Yeah, I try not to clickbait, guys. I mean, do the best you can to get people's attention, but yes, silver is the hold game. Yep, physical silver, absolutely. I believe physical silver is one of the most undervalued things in the entire world. Absolutely. Thank you, guys. Yep, long-term watcher. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to jump off here. I just wanted to do this quick. I normally don't have the house to myself much or quiet, so that's why I wanted to do this. But I wish you guys are the best. Zoom Coco, I know you've been there a long time. God bless you. I'm just hopping off now, so check this out. All right, guys. God bless. Take care. I'm going to try to close this out, and we'll talk to you tomorrow, Lord willing. Take care. Thank you, Gas Man. If you can still hear me, my goodness, that is a blessing. Thank you very much. Take care, guys.